Dune Part 2 has now joined an exclusive club, which is one of the greatest sequels ever made. Yes, it's a pretty bold statement, but it's a statement that I stand by. It stands alongside The Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, and even The Godfather Part 2. But not only is it one of the greats, it carves out its own legacy as one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made. Whew. I know, guys, that's a lot to take in, but trust me, this movie is that good. If this movie wasn't delayed, there's a lot of movies that are nominated right now this current award season that should be grateful, because if this movie came out last year October, its original release date, it would have bulldozed the competition. I mean, it's an incredible movie, guys. It's insane. It would have definitely been in the conversation. I'm talking cinematography, visual effects, even, okay, maybe not acting because, but it would have definitely been in the conversation. The first movie set the bar very high, and this one somehow manages to take what the first movie did very well and just elevate it to another level. I didn't even think that would be possible, but the movie does that very well. Now, the reason why I say this movie is only gonna get better with time, because look how the first movie has aged. When the first movie came out, people were like, it's okay. But now when you go back and you rewatch it, you're like, wow, this is actually incredible. And if this movie is better than the first film, can you imagine how this is gonna age over time? Part 2 basically overshadows the first movie like a giant sandworm. And when I talk about giant sandworms, there's a lot of worms in this movie. So if you don't like worms, I think you're actually gonna love these worms. This was my most anticipated movie of the year, and I can 100% say it delivered on all my expectations, and somehow it even exceeded my expectations. And it's very rare nowadays to say something like this, because nowadays the anticipation builds for something and then it comes out and you're like, what the hell is going on here? And I can honestly say that this didn't happen this time around. Denis delivered again. I want to talk about the cast, guys. I think Denis is an absolute genius. I mean, you take Florence Pugh, Chalamet, Zendaya, Austin Butler. You put all of them together in the same movie, and yet you somehow manage to get experience in. It just finds a perfect balance. I mean, you have new talent mixed in with veterans, and I just find that combination of how that works in the movie, I find that brilliant. Now, I want to talk about Chalamet. Chalamet is the guy. Chalamet is the one. I keep saying, like, when Leonardo ends his career, Chalamet is gonna be your go-to guy. He definitely does something different here with Paul Atreides, but he's already laid the foundation in the first movie, so he just builds upon that. And what an incredible performance, guys. I have to say that he can definitely carry the weight of a big franchise like this. This is a big budget franchise, guys, and to go from Wonka and go back into this, that's brilliant. That's a sign of a movie star, generational talent. Now, I would have talked about the plot, guys, but I don't want to spoil anything about the plot, because there's no way you can talk about the story of this movie and not spoil it. I mean, that's how intriguing this movie is. I'm not gonna go there, no spoilers. I'm just talking about how brilliant the movie actually is. Now, the visual effects and the cinematography, wow. I mean, wow. Greg Fraser does it again. I think Greg Fraser might be the best working in the business right now. I mean, if you go look at the first Dune and look what he did on the Batman. Whew. He's good at what he does, guys, and the visuals of this movie and the scale and the scope and the epic nature of looking at this. I mean, it leaves you in awe. It's that brilliant. Also, personally, I feel the one reason why the visual effects work so well in Dune is because Dune actually feels grounded. It's not the type of science fiction where you go like, okay, no, this is cyberpunk type stuff, Star Wars, you know. It's grounded in a world and a reality which actually makes you think like this could actually exist. And I feel like that's the power of Dune. The fact that Denis went with that type of approach to make the movie feel grounded. That just adds another layer, and that's what sets it apart from other science fiction films. On top of that, you have the incredible score by Hans Zimmer. I'm not gonna do it. Sounds bad. Rather watch the movie. The music of Dune has become so iconic now. That particular theme song I was doing just now, you know which one I'm talking about. It's so iconic, and Hans somehow just elevates it again. I mean, like, guys, I don't even know how to explain this. Like, everything that was good about the first movie has just been one up in this particular movie, which is, it's insane. One thing I want to talk about is I would actually recommend doing a little research before you go in and watch this movie. I mean, if you were neutral and you watched the first Dune and you were like, okay, this is quite interesting, you know, that's fine. But when we get to part 2, some of the stuff might be like, you might be looking at the screen like, what the hell is going on? So my recommendation would be just polish up on a few things, you know, don't spoil anything for yourself. But you're anyway gonna do that because you have to polish on the lore. But going in having an idea of what's actually happening, you know, will just make the experience of the movie that much better. I mean, because I feel like there's certain parts in this movie, especially where if you're not familiar with what's going on, you know, you might be there for the spectacle, but then the storyline, there might be a disconnect and you'll be like, okay, I need to know what's going on here. And I feel like that might take away from the experience of the movie, where some people might even say like, I don't like this. What is this? So just polish up, you know, do a little bit of background research on the movie. It will help. Trust me. That is something that I recommend you do before going in and watching this movie, guys. I just want to say, you know, this movie is an experience, guys. It's definitely one of those movies that you have to experience on the big screen. And I feel like that's what Denis was going for. He delivers one of the best sequels that I've ever watched. Probably one of the best sequels in cinematic history. One of the best science fiction movies ever. That's how good this movie is, guys. And how good this movie is, I don't know if he gets to make a third movie. How will this work? Because already this is that good. But if he does it, there's no way you can doubt Denis. I mean, he's one of the best directors working right now. I don't think he has a bad movie in his catalog that I can think of. And Dune Part 2 is a success, guys. This is the first big movie of the year. I mean, everything that came out before this was at best. But now we're in the big leagues. Now we're gonna get cinema. Like, we're gonna get good movies coming out. You know, I love the big spectacle movies and I also love indie movies, but this is big budget. This is get the popcorn out and just stare at the screen for 2.5 hours. Please let me know what you guys think about this movie. I think it might end up at number 1 for me this year, unless Nosferatu comes out. I would love to watch that as well. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, but this is up there. It's gonna be hard to top this movie. It's gonna be very, very difficult. I don't see anybody even getting close to this movie. Please let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Let's grow the channel together. I'll keep the reviews coming. I'll keep watching, keep giving my own opinion. You know, like, I'm not saying that my opinion is the definitive version of whatever. And that's the nice thing about film. You know, you can always, somebody can point out something in a movie that you didn't see that way and be like, wow, now I understand. And that's why I love talking about movies. Like, it's a passion of mine, and I just love the medium and television as well. So catch you guys on the next one.